So we've just come down those very steep steps, and we are now here at the North Hyde. So the North Hyde here, it says, if I can read it, the North Hyde, it thought that it overlooked a medieval carp pond for the sanitarium owned by the abbesses of Barking Abbey, but researchers found no documentary evidence that a sanatorium existed on the reserve or of a carp pond. Many early maps of Earl and Willmott's garden record this area as her water garden, and there are some plants there including purple loose strife, yellow iris and bamboo. So I've just sneaked down the side of the Hyde, and wow, you get to this amazing pond. It's beautiful. Look at that. And there's some little steps down there. There's a little bird feeder, and here's the Hyde for watching the birds in. But what a beautiful, overgrown kind of natural pond that is. How gorgeous. I just want to sit here for a minute. So I just thought I'd have a little look inside the Hyde. So this is where you can actually go in. It's just a little shed building, and here you can see out onto the pond, watch the birds, and there's even, oh look, they've even got like bird watching books there. There we go, so that you can know what you're spotting. So there you go, that's the bird watching Hyde. Strictly no smoking, and leave no trace. Please close windows and take your rubbish with you, and see if you can spot any of these beautiful birds. So this would have been the old terrace at the back of the house, with the steps leading down into the garden, and there would have been no trees there. And it says Ellen Willmott would have looked down onto the boating lake without seeing any trees, but she may well have walked on those very steps and walked down those into her garden. And this would have been the back of the house area. You can see the wall there, and this would have been the terrace. And here we've got a picture of the back of the terrace and the trees. Oh, I just love it. It says easy path there to the terrace and the Spanish chestnuts. But I love how those plants are just growing out of the wall there, and you can see the old boundary wall there. And apparently this path here is the Nut Walk. It was originally built by Ellen Willmott and has been rebuilt by volunteers and with donations from the family of Margaret Pike, who love to walk around at Warley Place so much. And yes, I can exactly appreciate why Margaret Pike enjoyed this place so much, and I can imagine Ellen building that path and finding nut trees. How amazing. It is just so breathtakingly beautiful and just overgrown, and almost like this forgotten Victorian garden. So we're now looking at the other side of the pond, and you can just see the Hyde there, and it's almost like something out of, I don't know, it's just so hidden and beautiful and secret. I love it. And you know what, the more I walk around these gardens, it just astounds me, like what Ellen Willmott actually achieved as a woman in the Victorian era. You know, we have to remember that this was a time when women were taught to be subservient. We had to be, they had to be mothers, be the rearer of children, the housekeepers. You know, they weren't allowed to have, or they weren't supposed to have careers, to have jobs. Men were the breadwinners. Men went out and earned the money, and if you came from a wealthy family, like Ellen Willmott did, then you were expected to marry somebody equally wealthy, of the same equal class as you, and produce children. And Ellen clearly didn't want to do that. And also, you know, women could flower arrange, they could paint flowers, they could read about flowers in books for gentle ladies. But the job of actually designing gardens, the job of actually scientifically classifying plants and studying them from, oh, we've got some thunder and some lightning, but yes, the whole idea of studying plants scientifically. Science was in its infancy during the Victorian times. There were so many, not in its infancy, but it was there was the whole argument between the creation God and the creation Christianity, and science and the theory of evolution, with Darwin, of course. So the study of botany, the study of plants, the study of things like that was very, very prevalent at that time. But most of the scientific research was done by men, and women, if they did have a role in it, were like Ellen, you know, wealthy patrons maybe, who actually gave money to send explorers off to find these seeds and find these plants in foreign lands. Sometimes women did actually go on these expeditions themselves, but it was sort of to be a little bit eccentric as a woman, to want to go and travel and be an explorer. It wasn't the done thing for a gentle lady, especially from a wealthy family, to go off and do things like that. Although many wanted to, it was society's norms that restricted them from pursuing careers and from travelling and from being explorers, and you know, and if they could walk around the gardens and take gentle strolls around them, but to actually design them, plant them, and breed different species of plants, and take a very scientific interest in it and be incredibly talented at it, was quite rare for a woman of Ellen's standing, and especially, you know, not to be married. That would have marked her out as a woman who was a little bit different from the Victorian norm. But it just astounds me what she actually achieved. And walking around her gardens, I'm really glad that she did what she did. And here's some gorgeous little plants, just growing up the wall there. All grown and planted by Ellen Willmott's fair hand in the Victorian times.